as if things couldn't get worse for the Philadelphia Eagles. You have AJ Brown possibly out at Tampa Bay, Jalen Hurts and Baker Mayfield injuries, Bill Belichick and the connection with Jeffrey Lurie, and Brian Johnson has two offers for head coach. Let's talk about that. Yo, what's up, Eagles Nation, Sports Nation? It's your boy, Cool Eagle, back here in another video. Just want to come talk to you guys because, whoa, do we have a lot to talk about today in the world of Eagles football. I hope you guys are doing well, because I'm definitely not. Uh, the Thursday injury report came out. I know I said that I was going to talk about it when it came out Friday, but this is very concerning going into tomorrow. Reed Blankenship was a DNP today at practice for a groin injury that he suffered in that Giants game when he had that interception. AJ Brown's knee, he was absent for today's practice. Um, and as far as AJ Brown, I was watching the Philly Talk podcast, and he said that his reliable source that never lets him down told him that it's 100% guaranteed that AJ Brown is not playing, and this does not bode well for Eagles fans. I'm really concerned how the betting favorites are going to change going into this weekend because at first the Eagles were 3.5 point favorites going to this game, but with the news of AJ Brown's injury and him potentially being out, per a reliable source from the Philly Talk podcast. And shout out to the Philly Talk podcast. Philly Mike is an awesome Eagles content creator on this side. Go check him out. Um, and on a struggling offense that was already not using his players how it's supposed to, and now in the back of a lot of Eagles fans' minds, should we really have played our starters in that last game at MetLife? A game that we did not have to play and a game that we were going to lose anyway, just based off how the first 2-3 drives went. Because let's talk about A.J. Brown's numbers for these past 6 games, and then we're going to lead on to the segment, right? 33 receptions, 406 yards, 0 touchdowns, which is a problem, 2 fumbles, and 2 fumbles lost. And remember, these 2 fumbles came at critical junctures in our losing streak, right? We remember AJ Brown in the Cowboys game, how he fumbled in the red zone, causing a huge momentum shift in that game to Dallas, to where our other 2 superstars started fumbling and losing them. And then we talk about him fumbling in this Giants game when we were looking like a competent offense, moving the ball down the field, and then he fumbles. He loses it. The Giants get the ball back, and the momentum just completely changes from there. We know what happens. We don't have to talk about it again. It was very traumatic. I know. I watched it too. So looking at this, I still feel like the Eagles can win without AJ Brown, just because you still have Devontae Smith, who said he's going to play Monday, and he would have played against the Giants if it were a playoff game. Whether he's being genuine with that or not, we can expect Devontae Smith. But how good is he going to be coming off an injury? Are we going to get 100% Devontae Smith? Probably not. But he's better than what we have on a roster, because you still have Julio Jones that you can put at the second wide receiver position, even though we have yet to utilize him properly. We have Olamide Zaccheaus that we can put at the wide receiver 3 position. We still have Dallas Goedert, who we also don't utilize properly. You have DeAndre Swift, a 1,000-yard rusher, Boston Scott, Rashad Penny, Kenneth Gainwell, who you use on bullshit screens. So there's no reason to me as to why the Eagles can't win this game still without A.J. Brown. Now, Jalen Hurts, okay, that's a different story, because on the interview today, he was talking about how his finger injury, how it's not as serious. He's working with it day by day. We saw him at practice with a glove on, which is still not very good, but hey, it's, as he says, a step in the right direction. So there's something to feel good about that. But still, like, how much of Jalen Hurts are you going to get with that hurt hand? How's this going to affect an already struggling passing offense? And what is Nick Sirianni and Brian Johnson going to do? to adjust to these difficult circumstances that we're facing right now. Are we still going to see the same pedestrian offense that we've been seeing these past 6 games? And speaking of Nick Sirianni, there's been talks about a Bill Belichick connection to Philly, namely Jeffrey Lurie. Apparently, there's an old article that came out talking about how Jeffrey Lurie wanted to buy the Patriots a long time ago for $150 million, but the deal just didn't fall through. We already hired his former defensive coordinator, Matt Patricia. So this is concerning because then you're hearing on a Nick Wright and Colin Cowherd podcast about how, depending on how this Tampa Bay game goes, whether we lose close or we get blown out, Nick Sirianni potentially could be let go, and this is a perfect landing spot for Bill Belichick because this is another Northeast city, not too far from New England, with marquee players on the defensive side of the ball. We know what Bill Belichick represents when it comes to defense, probably one of the best defensive coordinators, best defensive coaches of all time, really. And then you already have your marquee players on offense that are still under contract. That will still be there. Whether the offensive line, we can talk about that, Jason Kelce's potential retirement, whatever. But you still have the marquee players on both sides of the ball still, with Bill Belichick coming there. So it's Nick Sirianni coaching for his job. Again, Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman still have not came out publicly like Jerry Jones did for Mike McCarthy on his radio, talking about the potential of being let go if the team doesn't progress in the way they're supposed to. And mind you, I'm not against it, even though I talked about in my last video that if you get rid of Nick Sirianni, this would be the third head coaching change in Jalen Hurts' tenure here with the Eagles, something that he talked about profusely coming out of college, having different offensive coordinators at Alabama before he transferred to Oklahoma, then having to deal with the Doug Peterson, Carson Wentz regime, and then going into Nick Sirianni, Shane Steichen, and then this year we have Nick Sirianni and Brian Johnson, who right now has 2 offers for a head coaching job from the Tennessee Titans and the Carolina Panthers. And whatever you want to think about the Tennessee Titans and the Carolina Panthers, it's the fact that this further proves that Brian Johnson is not a big of a problem as we had originally thought, because the GMs see what's going on. Like, they look at Nick Sirianni's offense. They're like, well, and then Nick Sirianni coming on air saying that this is his offense. So Brian Johnson was never as big of a problem as we thought. Now, him calling the plays, we can argue about that back and forth. But just the fact that he has 2 offers for head coach from 2 teams says a lot and makes Nick Sirianni's case so much worse going into this game versus Tampa Bay, who's dealing with their own set of problems. Baker Mayfield did not participate in practice today due to ankle and rib injuries that he's been dealing with for the past few weeks. And we saw how the Tampa Bay Buccaneers literally limped out that game versus Carolina to win the NFC South. So maybe this plays well in our hands. Maybe we actually turn it on the defense and actually gets pressure and sacks on Baker Mayfield, making him, make a business decision, because we're going to need everything going into this game. And I'm very curious to see how Vegas shifts their bets going into this weekend. I'm curious to hear what you guys think in the comments. Remember, like, subscribe, get this content out. Love doing this with you guys. And again, we have more content on the way heading to this game. So I'll talk to you guys later. Y'all have a nice rest of y'all's day. Cool Eagles out here.